This is the 7th lesson in a series of presentations that cover principles of marketing. By now, you have the product, you have the price, you have set up distribution points, and in this particular lesson, the focus is going to be on promotions. To promote is to add value. To promote is to move one element from one point to another point where it is visible, where it is audible, and where it can be distinguished. Promotion is about communicating with the target audience that you have a product available at a specific price and at a specific place. The objectives of promotion are: number 1, to inform; number 2, to remind; number 3, to persuade; number 4, to differentiate; and number 5, to engage. It does not matter whether it's going to be advertising, whether it is going to be public relations, whether it is going to be sales promotions, or whether it is personal selling. Every business, when promoting, desires to inform, to remind, to persuade, to differentiate, and to engage different target audience. The topic of promotions is probably one of the longest you will ever cover in your studies, specifically when dealing with the principles of marketing. This is because it includes advertising, it includes public relations, it includes sales promotions, it also includes personal selling. Each of these 4 I have mentioned is a standalone subject by itself. However, when covering the principles of marketing, you need to know what advertising is, you need to know what public relations is, you need to know what sales promotions is, and you need to know what personal selling is. In this particular recording, I'm going to highlight what each one of these are, and these are approaches to promotions. Advertising is about communicating a uniform message through a paid-for media to a large mass market. For example, when Zesco is going to be conducting works in Kafue, it is going to send text messages or issue a press release. That press release contains a uniform message which applies to people in Kabanana, it also applies to people in Kablonga, it applies to people in Rodspark, it would also apply to people in Chawama, and also to people in Charleston. It is a uniform message, and the message is communicated on a paid-for platform. This could be radio, it could be television, and the message is intended for a large target audience. A 4th characteristic of advertising is that advertising is not personal. This means that you're not going to speak to someone on a one-to-one basis. When that happens, that is what is known as personal selling. Advertising is one-way communication where the company communicates and the target audience listens. Public relations refers to the promotional techniques that a company is going to use to portray itself as a good corporate citizen. It is planned, it is also meant for specific target audience, and it is meant to create long-lasting relationships. Examples of tools that are used in public relations are sponsorships and donations. And that's how come you have the Barclays League, you have got MTN sponsoring football, you have got Zamtel sponsoring traditional ceremonies, and you have got different companies coming on board because they want to be seen as companies that support community and national initiatives. And public relations is all about looking good. You want the company to look good. Sales promotions is about initiatives that engage the customer and aim at increasing the sales of products within a particular period of time. One way in which this can be achieved is through incentives or discounts. Another way, of course, is through coupons or samples. The business wants to increase sales within a short period of time. And this is what we see when it's Easter time, when it's Christmas time, when it's Independence time. Companies encourage the purchase and increased use of their product because at those particular times, people are excited to spend. They look out for what activities are taking place. They also look out for what products are going at a discount at that particular time. So a company can take advantage to reduce its price and hope and bank that customers are going to buy in bulk, therefore benefiting from economies of scale. Personal selling is about having a one-to-one conversation with customers. It could be a single customer or a group of customers at the same time. So when someone comes knocking at your door and you speak to them after opening the door about a particular product, that is not advertising. Instead, it is called personal selling. And as you may already appreciate, personal selling is about two-way communication. The salesperson makes a presentation and gives the customer an opportunity to ask questions. Personal selling involves interaction with the customer on a one-to-one basis. It could be to repeat an individual customer or a group of customers. So far on approaches to promotions, I have explained advertising, I have explained public relations, I have explained sales promotions, and I have explained personal selling. These are not the only approaches to promotions. There are more. For example, there is direct marketing and also telemarketing. So when you receive a call from someone who works for MultiChoice and they call you, let's say your name is Peter. Good afternoon, Peter. I hope I'm not calling you at a bad time. My name is Mubanga and I would like to speak to you about our products. Are you able to spare 3 to 4 minutes of your time, sir? That is an example of telemarketing, and it is one of the approaches that you also need to know. There are so many tools that can be used for promotions. There's radio, there's TV, there's internet, there's email, there's billboards, there's magazines, there's newspapers, so many options. Examiners may therefore ask you to explain the factors influencing the choice of which tools are going to be used. And these include the following. Number 1, the target audience. Number 2, competition. Number 3, the legal issues around the use of a particular media. Number 4, the costs. And number 5, appropriateness of a media. The factors that influence the choice of the promotional approach you're going to use include the target audience, and this basically looks at who is it that you're trying to reach. If you're trying to reach people who generally cannot read, then the use of TV advertising is going to be more appropriate than the use of newspapers. Number 2, competition. You look at what the competitor is using and try as much as possible to use a different tool, because customers, if you do not distinguish yourself, are going to consider you as one and the same. Number 3, there are legal issues regarding the use of a particular media. For example, cigarettes cannot be advertised on television, and cigarettes cannot be advertised also on radio or print media. Therefore, a company that is involved in the business of cigarettes may use other available options. Number 4, the costs involved with a particular media, and this is very important. To advertise on television is way much more expensive compared to the use of brochures and flyers, for example. And so every business must be mindful of the costs that are involved in the use of a particular media. Number 5, appropriateness. If you are advertising clothes, then radio advertising may not be the most appropriate. How is that advert even going to sound? Look at how you look in this particular suit. You look good. And I'm just hearing this on radio? No, no, no. Television would be more appropriate. If you would like more of these lessons, I would like us to chat. Send me a message to the WhatsApp number 0966 930 260. See you in the next lesson.